So, what if there was a single message out there that claimed to have all the answers to life's biggest questions? Not from some philosopher, but, directly from the creator. Well, that's the pretty bold claim we're going to explore today. And get this message doesn't just ask for blind faith. The source material says it comes with proof, actual, physical, tangible evidence. All of this is built around the answers to three huge questions that, let's be honest, every single one of us asks at some point. First up, maybe the most basic one of all. Who are you, really? And second, what's the point of all this? Why are we on this planet, going through our day-to-day lives? And finally, when you get past the obvious stuff like food and shelter, what do we truly need to feel happy and whole? The source claims that the answers to these three things, well, they form a complete user's guide to life. So let's dive in and see what it says. All right, let's tackle that first big question. Who are you? Well, according to this message, the answer starts with a pretty wild idea that we're not just what we see in the mirror. We're actually two completely different things living in one package. The source lays out this fascinating comparison. It says, look, you've got your body, which is basically just a temporary garment that you wear. It needs food, water, all that physical stuff. But then there's the soul. And that, it says, is the real you, the true eternal person who is wearing the garment. And that soul, it has a totally different set of needs, spiritual needs. And to really make you think about it, the source asks this question. We spend so much of our day feeding our bodies, right? But if the real person is the soul, what are we doing to feed it? It really makes you stop and wonder, is the real me starving? Okay, so if we are these eternal souls just wearing temporary bodies, that leads right into that second massive question. Why are we even here? Well, according to this, our purpose is way, way bigger than our jobs or our hobbies. We're actually part of a huge cosmic story, a demonstration, if you will. And this story, according to the source, didn't start last week. It began billions of years ago. It kicked off with a challenge from one of God's angels, Satan, who basically said, hey, I'm powerful enough to be a god too. This timeline kind of breaks down how it all plays out. It starts with Satan's challenge, way back when. Then before we were even created, our souls apparently made a covenant, a promise. Which brings us to today, with Earth acting as the arena for this cosmic test. And every choice we make now, it decides our future and the eternal life that comes next. And in this demonstration, we're presented with a very clear choice between two kingdoms. You've got God's kingdom on one side, which is described as absolutely perfect. And on the other side, you have Satan's kingdom, which is our world, full of all the problems that, according to the source, prove he just can't run the show. The bottom line is, we all have to pick a side. And that, right there, is the answer to why are you here. Your purpose in this life is to see this whole cosmic drama for what it is, consciously choose which sides you're on, and then use this temporary life to get your soul, the real you, ready for the eternal one that's just around the corner. Which leads us, naturally, to our third and final question. What do we really need? If our whole purpose here is spiritual, then it makes sense that our needs are spiritual too. And the source ties this directly to that one thing everyone is searching for, perfect happiness. So what's the secret? According to this message, it's not money, it's not fame, it's none of that. It's actually really simple. Perfect happiness is just having a well-developed and nourished soul. The idea is if your soul is happy, then you are happy. Not just here, but in the next life too. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If the key to happiness is a nourished soul, how do you actually do that? How do you feed the real you? Well, luckily, the message doesn't just tell you what to do, it gives you a how-to. Think of this last part as a practical guide, a blueprint for nourishing your soul. Let's go right back to that main idea. Your body needs breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? It's non-negotiable. The source says your soul is exactly the same. It needs its own consistent daily meals to stay healthy. So what are these soul meals? Well, the source lays out 4 key practices. You've got daily prayers, which are like the direct food for the soul. Then there's charity and fasting, which are designed to strengthen your soul's control over your body's wants. And finally, a pilgrimage, all about submission to God. And the whole point of doing all this? First, to find that perfect happiness we were just talking about. Second, to get yourself ready for the real eternal life. And third, and this is huge, to put your soul back in the driver's seat. So you are the master of your body, not the other way around. And this brings us right back to where we started. All of this information, this entire divine blueprint for how to live your life, is said to come from a message that isn't just complete and perfectly preserved, but is also, get this, mathematically coded. That's what the source calls the tangible, physical proof of where it comes from. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. Just put aside everything we've just talked about for a second and ask yourself this one simple question. If there really were a message from a creator, what kind of proof would you expect to see? What would it take to convince you?